Hi, Horror Recapped here. Today, I am going to be covering an American mystery thriller film, Zodiac. Spoilers incoming. Be careful and beware. This movie is based on real cases. We start off in California on the 4th of July 1969. The girlfriend picks up the guy and drives to a diner. It's too crowded, so they go somewhere quiet. A car drives up and an unknown person steps out of that car with a flashlight and shoots the couple. Fortunately, the man survived. Robert Graysmith is a political cartoonist at a famous newspaper, the San Francisco Chronicle. 1 month later, someone sends a letter to their office, but no one knows who sent it. Carol Fisher receives it, and in the letter, there is a threat given by a person to kill a dozen people. In the letter, the killer sends a coded message for them to crack his identity. The killer wants his letter to be published in the newspaper. The main staff attends a meeting to discuss the letter. Robert is there at the meeting. Paul Avery is the crime reporter. When Robert reads the letter, he says that even if they crack the code, they wouldn't be able to find the identity of the killer. He claims that the killer is lying. But the senior members do not take him seriously. They decide to publish the letter at page number 4 of their newspaper and hand this letter to the Central Intelligence Agency. An old couple reads the message in the newspaper and solves the cryptic message. When Avery and the others read the decoded message, they get nothing out of it. Robert was right. Avery and Robert start working together on this project. They receive another letter the next day. Here in this letter, the killer calls himself Zodiac with his symbol. 6 weeks later, Zodiac holds a couple at gunpoint. The guy cooperates and hands over everything he has, including his wallet and his car keys. Zodiac gives a string to the girl to tie him up. He then ties up the girl and brutally stabs her to death with a knife. He writes the date and time of the incident on the car as well as his symbol. After a few days in the same city, a cab driver, Paul, gets shot by Zodiac. He takes a piece of Paul's shirt and sends it over to the San Francisco Chronicles with a letter, claiming he has killed the driver. Chronicle staff read his letter, and Robert is disturbed that Zodiac plans on hitting up city school buses full of kids. When his son was about to be picked up by a school bus, he decides that he will drive his son to school. At night, the news broadcaster reports on the plans of Zodiac. He shuts his TV off as his son walks in. A couple of days later, a celebrity lawyer, Melvin, gets a call from Zodiac. He asks Melvin to join a talk show, where he will call during the live talk show. This show is broadcasted to the whole city. They receive a call from Zodiac. In the live show, Zodiac tells that he suffers from a headache, and when he cannot control his headache, he kills people to make himself feel good. They decide to meet up at a location, but Zodiac doesn't end up showing up. It has been a year since the first murder took place. It is Christmas time. Zodiac keeps on sending letters to Melvin. Avery comes to a conclusion that Zodiac is not killing all these people. There are other psycho people who are killing people, and since Zodiac is famous these days as a serial killer, everyone assumes that he is killing. Avery says that he is just taking credit for all the murders by writing and sending letters. According to Avery, Zodiac is just an attention seeker. Only about 2 or 3 murders were committed by Zodiac in the beginning. They start to match up past murder cases. All other murders have already been done before, but he is just taking credit for them. During investigation, they found a wristwatch brand of a Zodiac, which is an exact symbol of Zodiac's. He tells Robert to keep it to himself. When Zodiac finds out that he is not getting credit for all these murders, he writes a letter to Avery threatening him. Avery gets paranoid after receiving a death threat from Zodiac. He demands a gun for his safety after receiving a card with a piece of cloth and blood in it. Police and CIA announce that whoever tells about the identity of Zodiac will be rewarded with a huge amount of money. Therefore, we see a lot of people in their offices just talking about their guesses and making ridiculous stories. In reality, none of them know anything about the Zodiac. Many people just go in and claim to be the Zodiac. After 8 months, a man provides a suspect. The suspect is Arthur Lee. He says that he was his colleague, who used to talk about killing people and sending letters to police. Arthur Lee called himself Zodiac, and on top of that, used to work in a school where he abused a child in school. Because of that, he was kicked out of the school. Police ask him surprisingly why he didn't come earlier to tell us everything about Arthur Lee. The person answers that he has tried many times to reach out to them, but he could not reach them. The police take the address of Arthur Lee and go to investigate him. Arthur Lee is working in a company as an employee. He is called in for investigation in his company. Arthur Lee is a giant man. Police investigate him about everything the man told them, but Arthur rejects all allegations made about him. Dave notices that the watch Arthur is wearing is also from the Zodiac brand. Arthur tells them that he is not Zodiac, and if he were, he would not tell them. Since the CIA and police do not have any solid evidence against him, they cannot arrest him. They reach out to his brother and sister-in-law. This couple hands over a letter written by Arthur Lee to them for a Christmas event. The sister-in-law says that Arthur also spelled Christmas with 2 S's. Police take this letter to a handwriting expert, but the expert says that it is not written by Zodiac. Arthur writes with left hand and Zodiac writes with right hand. In 1972, Arthur's sister-in-law called the CIA to ask them why they had not arrested Arthur. They answer saying they do not have any solid evidence against him. Then she tells them about a social worker who was working with Arthur to get him in better shape. Gathering all the evidence they have, they put the pieces together and have enough evidence to get a search warrant. On September 2, 1972, the CIA got a search warrant for Arthur's trailer. On September 14, they searched his house. He wasn't home and had left 30 minutes ago. The trailer was filthy and was filled with rodents. They found many guns in the house. Along with that, they found black gloves and many other suspicious things indicating that Arthur Lee was the Zodiac. They took him to San Francisco and made him write with both hands, but again, the writing did not match Zodiac's handwriting. 4 years have passed, and in the past 3 years police have not received any letter. Robert heads over to Paul's house, which was a boat, to talk about writing a book on the Zodiac. Paul disagrees. Robert leaves and heads over to the CIA to meet with Dave for lunch. There, he presents the books that are vital for Zodiac to have. There is no history of anyone checking them out, which means they were stolen. Dave referred him to Narlo, who referred him to Mullinax. He goes through all the files and evidence they have of Zodiac. Robert finds a clue. He finds out that the very first murder of a young lady took place after she received 2 calls from an unknown number. He finds out more information from Melvin's maid. He heads to Melvin, but Melvin advises him to keep to handwriting. At night, he receives a call. It is from an anonymous caller, who gave him Zodiac's name as well as his friend. He goes to meet with the handwriting expert. He tells Robert that handwriting can be changed with the passage of time. A person can write in 2 different handwriting with his 2 different hands, but not Zodiac. At night, Robert receives a call but only hears heavy breathing. Dave gets accused of creating the Zodiac letters. He gets kicked off his team. Robert goes to try and talk to him, but he does not want any part of it and regrets talking to him about it. When he gets home, one of his kids found another Zodiac letter that has been unsolved. He quickly solves it and goes live on TV. His wife asks when he is going to be finished with Zodiac. She is concerned for his safety, but he is more addicted to figuring Zodiac out than for his family's safety. He heads off to Bob Vaughn. Bob gives him a lot of information and has a basement. Not a lot of people had basements in California. He takes Robert down to his basement and reveals all the film canisters he has. Robert hears some footsteps upstairs and is freaked out, so he runs to the door. It is locked. Bob unlocks it. Robert gets home but finds everyone missing. He finds a note on the phone that says took the kids to mom's. Don't call. Robert is frustrated but continues to interview people related to the Zodiac. He interviews Linda and she gives him the name Lee. He headed to the police station to look at some files and matched it, but the sergeant said it was over. He took all the files they had and placed it at home. His wife comes in and gives him evidence that matches with exactly what he had found. Robert concludes from his investigation that Arthur Lee is Zodiac. In December 1983, after 14 years, Robert tracked down Arthur. Arthur works in a hardware store as a sales clerk. They stare at each other. Robert leaves. After 8 years, Robert's book gets published and becomes a bestseller book. In 1991, after the release of this book, the boy who survived in the start of the movie was called to identify Zodiac from different suspects. He points his finger on the photo of Arthur Lee. But in the final portion, we read that when this boy gave his statement, the police went for Arthur, but he had passed away around 1992. Subscribe and stay notified. Also, write down in the comment section what you thought about Arthur Lee. If you like this video, tell us by giving it a big thumbs up. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.